Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you another review of WWE Jerry Spritter Presents Too Hot for TV. And I'm really starting to like this show. I'm starting to watch every episode. I think it's really good. And I'm going to make a playlist after this where you can check out all the other reviews that I've done um, of this show. So let's start off. What I like about the show is you get to look at past at all of the WWE moments. And remember the good and the bad. That's what I like about this show. So, this episode is called All in the Family. So this was very based around family. Um, and we're going to get to that. And the first moment that it shows is when Randy Orton punted John Cena's father. To be honest with you, this moment actually I really like. The reason being is because that night I had gone to my first wrestling live event at all. I didn't have very good seats at all. We were like in like beyond nosebleed seats. But I went to my first wrestling event. It was for that Raw, for WWE Raw, for whatever date that was. And I remember that Raw too. I remember that night John Cena was facing Ken Booker, who is now known as Booker T, but he was facing Ken Booker, and he had Queen Sharmell ringside. And Randy Orton had come out because he had wanted, because that he had lost at SummerSlam the night before to John Cena for the WWE title, and he wanted another shot at John Cena's WWE Championship. And William Regal felt like that John Cena should have newer competition because William Regal was the general manager at the time. So he went to Vince McMahon and asked for an opportunity, and Vince McMahon said no. Vince McMahon wanted Randy Orton to show him that he really deserved this opportunity. So he went out there. He interfered in the match. I think it was like a DQ, and he attacked him and Ken Booker teamed up on John Cena, and Randy Orton was about to punt John Cena. And he stopped, and he pulled out John Cena's father from the audience and punted him. Now, at first, I thought he actually just pulled out a legit fan and punted him because I didn't know they planted fans back then, and you can't really see it from where I was. So I was like, I actually thought that was really good, but then I looked it up and I found out it was John Cena's father. But yeah, really good stuff here. I really liked it. Because I was still just getting into wrestling in general. And I just was at that stage where I didn't know, like I knew it was not real, like I knew it was scripted. But I didn't know like what was real and what wasn't real. And I thought that was real, so I was like, I was considering calling. Actually, I wouldn't say I was considering calling the cops, but I felt bad for the guy. All right, so then Ravishing Rick Rude. It shows him flirting with Jake the Snake Roberts' wife. He goes up to her. I forget what her name was, but he asks her like, "What wrestler you here to see tonight?" And she says Jake the Snake Roberts, and she makes fun. She insults him, calls him weak or something like that, and then she slaps him, and he's about to put his hands on her, and Jake the Snake Roberts came out and made the save, and for weeks Ravishing Rick Rude would wear these pants, these tights of Jake the Snake Roberts' face, and eventually on 1 week, Jake the Snake Roberts came out and pulled down his pants, and yeah, I thought that was really good stuff. I really liked that actually. That seemed like it was a good feud. So then it shows Val Venus flirting with Ken Shamrock's sister. And Ken Shamrock's sister was in love with her. And then it shows her, her name was Ryan Shamrock. And it shows her going into, Val Venus, his whole gimmick was, he was a ladies' man. And his theme song, I like his theme song too, it was, "Hello, ladies." And he would make these films. And he made a film of him shaving, Ryan Shamrock's, I guess, pussy. It was really cool, and Ken Shamrock was pissed about it. I thought that was awesome stuff. So then they started doing this new thing, but that was really good too. So then they started doing this new thing when Dustin Rhodes, who was Gold Dust, but they were calling him Dustin Rhodes at this time. But Dustin Rhodes um, was not a fan of the Attitude Era. He had a lot of problems with it, and one of the problems was Val Venus. Val Venus actually was more popular than I thought he was. Because when I started watching, he was just kind of like a jobber. But I really like Val Venus. But he had a problem with the way Val Venus like was running his tapes and all that, and then would always he called his dick. I forget what he called it. I think I said it in the last video or the video before that. Um, of this review series, and he plays this clip of him sleeping with Dustin Rhodes' wife, Terry Reynolds, because in real life that's what Dustin Rhodes' last name is Dustin Reynolds, and Val Venus was sleeping with Terry Reynolds, and she was talking about how Val Venus is more of a man than Dustin Rhodes, and you see Dustin Rhodes just crying about it. I thought that was awesome, and they were having like a thing for a while, and then we find out that Terry Reynolds gets pregnant, and Val Venus isn't happy about this. He just kind of treats her like crap, and he says that he pretty much says that he can't be the father because before he pretty much came to the WWE, he had a vasectomy, and they said that if he hadn't had one, there'll be a bunch of little Val Venuses or whatever he said running around. I actually really liked this. It looked like it was awesome. And then it shows Mae Young, and it shows a segment on SmackDown when D'Lo Brown and Too Cool, which had consisted of Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty Too Hotty, dancing with a bunch of ladies, and Mark Henry and Mae Young had come out, and they announced that Mae Young was pregnant. I thought this was awesome. So then it shows her getting taken to about to going into labor. And you see some doctors. You see Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe there, and Mark Henry obviously because he's like the father. And they can't get her into the hospital in time, so they take her in a room. And they're asking, Fabulous Moolah was also there too. And one thing I liked about this is as she's giving birth and in the labor, she's smoking a cigar. It was really awesome. But the doctor's asking, when was the last time you had your period? And Mae Young says, 1957. And the doctor's like, doesn't really think like it's possible that Mark Henry could have gotten Mae Young pregnant. But then eventually the birth happens. And who comes out but a freaking hand? Mae Young gives birth to a hand. Yes, I said it right. You see Gerald Briscoe, he's kind of throwing up. I thought that was awesome. And I like the way the doctor reacts. He just pulls it out. He's like, oh, what the? Good God. Or something like that. It was really awesome. Just the way the doctor reacted was really good, too. And then I remember they replayed this. They did bring this up later on the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw in 2012. They had a backstage segment where Mae Young came up, and there was a guy dressed up like the hand. That was awesome. And I heard that Mae Young is like the daughter of Mae Young, because technically, that's like a joke that we made. So we're like, so Mae Young must be the hand then. So yeah, that was really funny. Cause that's what Mae Young's last name is Young, and Mae Young is Mae Young. But obviously we know that's not the case because that's not Mae Young's real last name. So then we get the next segment. It's Harry Mother Beaver Cleavage. It was like this old 1950s film, and it was these vignettes hyping up this new guy, Harry Mother Beaver Cleavage. Yeah, it was just pretty much references to the woman, his mother's cleavage, saying like, do you want milk for my cleavage? Saying Beaver, a lot of that stuff, and then it led to a debut match, and apparently that was the only guy's debut match because they scrapped it. It didn't look like it looked like it was okay. Probably there wasn't the best gimmick, so yeah, it was really weird. So then we get something that I didn't like on this. It was the debut of Shelton Benjamin's mother. Because apparently they were hyping up that Shelton Benjamin was going on a huge losing streak. So then his mother comes up, and his mother looks like the person that's the principal in the Mac and Devin Go to High School movie with Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa. I think it might be her. If you've seen the movie, you might know what I'm talking about. And she's upset that he keeps losing, and she said that she didn't. She's not watching to see her son lose all the time, and she starts becoming his manager, and she runs into Val Venus, and she's like, I know who you are. I've seen you in movies, a couple of movies before." And Val Venus starts mentioning all his films when one of them he referenced was the one with Ryan Shamrock. And she's not happy with them, and then she stops pretty much helping Shelton Benjamin win matches. And Shelton Benjamin's playing the gimmick where he's like a mama's boy, and he gets upset when he hears that Shawn Michaels called him a mama's boy. Just really funny and bad stuff, I guess. And then it shows that scene when his mother's like needs to be on oxygen or something, and Ric Flair is defending the Intercontinental Championship against Shelton Benjamin, and Shelton Benjamin's mother's acting like that she's gonna go into that she needs oxygen, and then Shelton Benjamin uses the oxygen tank to hit Ric Flair and win the Intercontinental Championship, and it was all a facade, it was all a ruse, and then eventually it shows her flirting with Vince McMahon, and then that was about it. This gimmick is funny. But I don't like this gimmick just because it feel like that this was one of those gimmicks that probably ruined Shelton Benjamin's career. I think this wasn't his best gimmicks. At least he was getting on TV, I guess. But I feel like that it didn't really work for me. And it didn't even work for me when I was because I didn't watch it at the time, but I watched it like on a DVD when I was just starting to get into wrestling, and I'm less like, I don't like this. But I didn't like it then either. Alright, but we get the next segment, and it's the Vince McMahon's illegitimate child scenario. The whole storyline with this. So Jonathan Coachman says there's like a lawsuit or something, saying that Vince McMahon has an illegitimate child, and then they do a segment where Stephanie McMahon reveals that it's a WWE superstar, so they're gonna go through everybody on the roster, and it's a son too, it's not a daughter, and they go through superstars like Val Venus, and he mentions his films again. They mention people like Daivari. I actually forgot about Daivari. The Great Khali, Funaki, Jimmy Wayne Yang, Mr. Kennedy, which actually he was supposed to be the son, because he does mention that Vince McMahon's middle name is Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and his last name is Mr. Kennedy, so he thinks that's just a little weird right there. But Mr. Kennedy got caught doing some sort of steroid or something, so he got suspended. So we get this segment, and everybody's getting kicked out. You think it's gonna be Triple H because they say the person likes to play the game, because they were doing like little riddles and stuff like that. And it really would have been funny if it was Triple H, just due to the fact that it would be leading to a lot of comedy together. And it ends up being Hornswoggle. It was terrible. They really could have gone with anybody else. I would have gone. I can't really think of anybody who we really could have gone with. I was thinking MVP, it really wouldn't make any sense. They were pushing MVP, but MVP is black and Vince McMahon's white, and Linda McMahon. Well, technically, we don't know who the mother is, actually. So, actually, that could have worked. Vince McMahon could have just fucked a black chick. MVP's mother. So, that actually would have worked perfectly. But, yeah. And then also, he mentioned something that he did John Cena's mother. But John Cena ducked him in the face. So, yeah. But the whole storyline ended up being A huge disappointment because the son ended up being Hornswoggle. What a disappointment that was. So then it shows the McMahon family, and it shows Vince McMahon cutting a promo talking about how there's important things like money and power and success and all that, but nothing's more important than family. And as he's cutting this promo, he shows stuff like Shane McMahon beating the crap out of him, them working together when Triple H and DX, which is the Road Dogg Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, which made the tag team the New Age Outlaws, beating the crap out of The Rock. Vince McMahon throwing Triple H off the stage. Triple H beating the crap out of Shane McMahon. Stephanie McMahon turning on Vince McMahon and joining up with Triple H after the big street fight and the explanation afterwards. Vince McMahon walking together with Linda McMahon. Stephanie McMahon and Vince McMahon's I Quit match from No Mercy 2003. The WrestleMania 17 match between Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon when Linda McMahon low-blowed Vince McMahon. When Triple H pedigreed Vince McMahon when he was trying to convert him into the Kiss My Ass Club. DX making fun of Vince McMahon's head. What else? What else? Vince McMahon attacking Triple H in the locker room. But yeah, he just cuts this promo, and I thought it was a really good promo. That's all I really have to say. Just talks about how the McMahons are always together, always one big power. And I thought it was good. And then that's how the show ended. And I liked this episode. I thought it was good. The only two segments I didn't like on this episode was Shelton Benjamin's mama and Vince McMahon's illegitimate child. Everything else I thought was really good. But like I said, I like watching the show for these moments. Even if I don't get to see the good, even if I have to see bad moments, I'm just like, yeah, this is, I can't believe this was there. But other than that, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back. I'm going to probably be posting these reviews at least either every week or every time there's a new episode, pretty much. So every time there's a new episode on the network, expect reviews. But that's pretty much it, guys. You can click on the bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. And I'll be back at some point in the future to give you another video. But that's pretty much it, guys. See you later.